Good evening, and welcome to Election Night in America 2024. Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris tries to hold the White House for the Democrats. Her opponent is former President Donald Trump. As most of you remember, Donald Trump did end up being acquitted of charges of inciting an insurrection in February of 2021. He was acquitted despite only getting 43 votes in the Senate, but he was acquitted and he is now allowed to run for president, which he got his party's nomination, and he's now going to go up against Kamala Harris. But let's take a look at our swing state polls brought to you by the UEP Data Desk. In Arizona, Harris has a 3-point lead. In Florida, Trump enjoys a 1% lead, and in Georgia and Pennsylvania, Harris has 4 and 6% leads respectively. Now, the voters seem to be pretty split on which direction the country's going in. 50% of voters, around half of the electorate, believes that the country's going in the right direction. 47% believe it's on the wrong track. So this is better than it was, 4 years ago in 2020, where a vast majority of voters said that the country was on the wrong track. But it's still not great. Now, only 38% of voters approve of Donald Trump. 58% of voters find him unfavorable, which could be really bad for him. Kamala Harris is a bit more favorable. She's not too favorable to voters, but she has a 52% favorability rating and 46% unfavorability rating. Now, 39% of voters listed the economy as their most important issue. 27% listed healthcare, 22% listed race in America, and 12% of voters said something else. Now, we also asked voters whether the insurrection on January 6th was a factor in their vote. 55% said it was, 40% said it wasn't, and the remaining 5% said they weren't sure. And the polls have just closed in the first 6 states: Vermont, Indiana, Kentucky, Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia. In Vermont, we can project that Kamala Harris will carry the state's 3 electoral votes, no surprise here. In Indiana, Donald Trump will win these 11 electoral votes. He won this very easily in 2020. And even though Mike Pence is not on the ticket this time, his running mate is Matt Gaetz. It's still going to go for him very easily. In Kentucky, 8 electoral votes for the former president will go for Donald Trump. 16 electoral votes at stake in Georgia, and with about a tenth of the vote in, Donald Trump enjoys a very early lead. But remember, the more rural or /exurban parts of the state come in first. In South Carolina, kind of the opposite happens here. The more urban parts of the state come in first, and Kamala Harris has a very early lead. It's too early to call in South Carolina. In Virginia, it's also too early to call. Kind of the same thing in Georgia. The more, southwestern parts of the state, are coming in first from Virginia. The more rural parts of the state. Once we head up to Fairfax County, in all likelihood, Kamala Harris will win the state of Virginia, but it's still too early to call. We're not going to call it just yet. Now, there are 3 electoral votes in Harris's column, 19 in Trump's column, and 3 states, Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia, too close to call. And those were our first poll closings, but we have a major projection to make from the UEP decision desk, and it's that Kamala Harris will be winning the state of Virginia's 13 electoral votes, obviously. This was expected, but it was too close to call for a bit. But no surprise in Virginia. Harris, with around 3/4 of the vote in, has taken a lead, and that lead is only going to expand. In West Virginia, 4 electoral votes. These are, no surprise, West Virginia, a very conservative state. Donald Trump will win West Virginia. In North Carolina, Kamala Harris has a very early lead there, but only 8% of the vote is in. And in Ohio, 5% of the vote is in, but it's only from Cuyahoga County, which is where Cleveland is, and Kamala Harris doing very well early on in Ohio. So 16 electoral votes for Kamala Harris, 23 for Donald Trump, but still too early to call in many swing states, including Georgia, Ohio, and North Carolina. Now, it is now at 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and we have some major projections to make. First, we can project that Kamala Harris will win Connecticut, 7 electoral votes. She will also carry Delaware, 3 electoral votes. That is the home state of President Joe Biden, who is retiring this January. In Illinois, 19 electoral votes at stake there. Kamala Harris carries them easily. In Maine, 2 of their electoral votes, and Maine allocates electoral votes by congressional district, so 2 electoral votes for Kamala Harris there. She'll also win the 1st district and get 1 electoral vote. The 2nd district, we don't have a call in just yet. In Maryland, 10 electoral votes here. No surprise, Kamala Harris will win Maryland. And we can also project that Massachusetts, 11 electoral votes will go for Kamala Harris. In New Jersey, these are 14 electoral votes. This is one of the bigger blue states on the East Coast. Democrats have had a history of winning here, and Kamala Harris, once again, We'll continue that streak for the Democratic Party. In the District of Columbia, we apologize. It says 1 electoral vote. It should just say 3. So 3 electoral votes in the District of Columbia for Kamala Harris. In South Carolina, 9 electoral votes for Donald Trump. He will carry South Carolina. Harris made it a little closer than expected, which is, I guess, a good sign for her across the South. And she was able to have high enough black turnout in South Carolina to make it close, but it's still going to be a Trump state. In Alabama, 8 electoral votes. They lost an electoral vote after the census, so they had 9 in 2020. They're going to have 8 this year, and Donald Trump will carry Alabama. In Mississippi, 6 electoral votes. Donald Trump will win Mississippi. And in Missouri, 10 electoral votes for Donald Trump there. He will keep racking it up in the Midwest. Oklahoma, 7 electoral votes for Donald Trump. And in the state of Tennessee, we have 11 electoral votes, and we can project Donald Trump will win 11 electoral votes. Now, in Florida, we can project that Donald Trump has the lead. We can't make a call there just yet, but Donald Trump is trailing Kamala Harris in Florida. I mean, 2nd congressional district with around a third of the vote in, a little more. Donald Trump has a very early lead there. We'll have to see, because we don't know exactly what areas they're coming in from. It's primarily Piscataquis County, which is more Republican, but we also have some, more Democratic areas of the district too, so we're not ready to make a call there, because we're not really informed of where the votes are coming in from. In New Hampshire, with 12% of the vote in, Kamala Harris has a lead here, and in Pennsylvania, it's really close. It's early on, and the only votes that have come in are from Bucks County, where Harris is doing about the same as Biden, a little worse with the suburban tally, but again, it's really just only half of the vote there, so we're going to have to see how that pans out. So, again, it's early on. We still don't really know who's won these battleground states, but right now, Kamala Harris has an electoral lead. 89 electoral votes for Harris, 74 for former President Donald Trump. And there is one political election that we have here in Arkansas, and we can project that Donald Trump will carry Arkansas 6 electoral votes. So, bring him up to 80 electoral votes. Vice President Harris still 89. So, it is now 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have some major projections to make. First, in New Hampshire, this is too early to call. The polls closed there about an hour ago, and Kamala Harris, we can project, will win New Hampshire, with 65% of the vote, and her lead is still pretty big, and she's going to carry the state of New Hampshire. Vice President Harris will also carry Colorado. She did very well, Colorado. In Minnesota, 9 electoral votes. This is an interesting call. The Trump campaign made a play for Minnesota, but in the end, the suburbs really helped. They came out for Harris, so she's going to carry Minnesota. And 5 electoral votes in New Mexico. They will go for Kamala Harris. We can also project that 27 electoral votes in New York. This is the among the biggest solid blue states. It's the second biggest behind California. 27 electoral votes in New York. They all drop in Harris's column. We apologize for that error. In the 2nd congressional district, we can project that Donald Trump will carry this. It was too early to call earlier, but we can, we have enough data here to tell that Donald Trump will carry the district by around the same margin he carried it in 2020. In Louisiana, 8 electoral votes will go for Donald Trump. And in Nebraska, 4 of their 5 electoral votes will go for Trump. The 2nd district, we do not have a call there yet. And in North Dakota, 3 electoral votes from North Dakota, and in South Dakota, we can also project that Donald Trump will win there. We can also project that Wyoming, and again, we're not sure if it exists or not, we're just going to roll with it. 3 electoral votes from Wyoming will go for Donald Trump. Now in Arizona, these are 12 critical electoral votes. It'll be very hard for Donald Trump to find a path to victory without Arizona. It's possible, but he would like to have it, and it's very early on, but Kamala Harris has the lead here. In Kansas, again, this is one of the states that the Democratic parts of the state come in first, even though Kansas is a pretty red state. Kamala Harris has the lead there. In Kansas, we just showed you that. In Michigan, with 23% of the vote reporting and 15 electoral votes at stake, Donald Trump has the lead in Michigan. In Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, again, this is one of the districts that has had a really interesting voting pattern in that it was historically Republican, but it flipped to Biden in 2020, and Kamala Harris has the lead there. In Texas, with 8% of the vote in, again, this is mostly from the Rio Grande Valley area, which is a heavily Hispanic region of the state. So this, obviously, if Harris does win Texas, it won't be by 23%. But, she's making improvements on Biden's 2020 performance in the RGV, so that's a good sign for her. Just wanted to point that out. In Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes at stake. Here, Kamala Harris has the very early lead in Wisconsin. So we still don't really know who's won some of these battleground states, but right now Kamala Harris has the lead in the Electoral College. She's also won, some of these semi-competitive Biden states like New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Maine, Virginia, I guess, too. So just wanted to point that out. Donald Trump, however, is holding his, I guess, semi-competitive states from 4 years ago, like South Carolina. That's an example, I guess. Now, it's now 10 o'clock, and we have some major projections to make. So first, Michigan will go for Kamala Harris. These are 15 electoral votes that she absolutely had to have. There was essentially no path for her, and she was expected to win them, but we are now going to officially project her win here with 3/4 of the vote, and we can call Michigan for Kamala Harris. We can also call Nebraska 2nd District for her. There was some doubt about this, but it was expected that she'd win it. This is mostly Omaha and surrounding areas, and she's going to carry the district. So, with 83% of the vote, and she's going to carry it by almost a safe margin. So, again, it's going to be closer than we originally expected, but still very interesting result out of Nebraska's 2nd District. Now, in Kansas, 6 electoral votes. Donald Trump will carry the state of Kansas. As expected, we just wanted to give you the update earlier because Harris had the lead. Trump has now taken the lead with all these votes pouring in. We can also project that Montana's 3 electoral votes will go for Donald Trump. No surprise at this state. And in Utah, 6 electoral votes. Donald Trump does enough to carry the state of Utah pretty easily. In Iowa, it's too early to call, but Kamala Harris is a lead there. It's also too early to call in Nevada. We only have votes in from a few counties in here, but this is essentially the rural part of the state, which is why Harris is trailing, but it's very early on. So, 160 electoral votes for Kamala Harris, 118 for Donald Trump. The first battleground state, before the election we identified battleground states. Michigan was one of them, and we called that for Kamala Harris. So, right now I guess she has the battleground state lead 1-0, but the election is still very much in play, and we do not know who's going to win just yet. The polls have just closed on the West Coast as well as Idaho, and we can now project that Pennsylvania will go for Kamala Harris. I think, this was expected, but there was a lot of hope for the Trump campaign, and, this is really bad news for them, because if they'd won Pennsylvania, they'd be barring an important path for Harris, and she's going to carry Pennsylvania. She's actually going to do worse in the rural part of the state than Biden did in 2020, but she's doing a little better in the Philly area, and a little better in the suburbs, so that is what's going to give her a win here. She's ahead by around 6, but the remaining areas are more Republican. However, she's still going to carry the state of Pennsylvania in a huge blow to the Trump campaign. Now we have 55 electoral votes in California. No surprise out of these liberal western coast states, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington, all for Kamala Harris. We can also project at Ohio, 17 electoral votes. The city used to be a bellwether state, but it broke its streak when it voted for Trump in 2020. Biden won the election. 17 electoral votes in Ohio will go for Donald Trump. He's going to win the state by around 3%, but there are still some votes remaining. These are more Republican votes, so Harris's hopes of a comeback in Ohio are minute. In Idaho, 4 electoral votes from the state of Idaho, or the potato state. Maybe it's not, I'm not sure. I just associate Idaho with potatoes. 4 electoral votes here. Donald Trump will win. And 139 electoral votes for Trump, 258 for Kamala Harris. Harris is closing in on a victory. She just needs essentially one of these battleground states to win, unless it's Iowa or Nevada or Wisconsin, in which case she needs 2. But, if she wins Florida, it's over. It's now 12:19 a.m. on the East Coast. We now have a major projection to make. It's that Georgia, this is the tipping point state, 16 electoral votes, will push Harris over the finish line. She made a big play for the state, and the Atlanta area came out for her. She's going to win Georgia. So we can now project, the VP data desk can now project that Kamala Harris will be elected the 47th president of the United States. However, we can project that Iowa will go for Donald Trump. No surprise here. There was a little hope for Harris, but it was kind of, I think all of us knew that Iowa would stay in the Trump column. He had populist appeal here. It was a little closer than we thought, but he's still going to carry it. Now, Harris, again, has already crossed the 270 mark. She's at 274 electoral votes. Former President Trump is at 145. Now, the polls have just closed in Alaska. We have some major projections to make. First, in North Carolina, 16 electoral votes. This is a flip from 2020. This is our first flip. This was a narrow Trump state in 2020. Kamala Harris did enough in the suburbs and in Raleigh, as well as Durham and Charlotte, to win the state narrowly, but she's going to carry North Carolina's 16 critical electoral votes. In Alaska, 3 electoral votes here. No surprise out of the state of Alaska. They will go for Donald Trump. So Again, we still have some races too close to call, but Kamala Harris has spoken. She has declared victory. Donald Trump has yet to concede. We don't know really where he is because he hasn't spoken, and he's banned from Twitter and all social media, so we're not sure. But, yeah. It's now 2:49 a.m. on the East Coast. We have some more projections to make. The first is that Arizona will go for Kamala Harris. 12 electoral votes in Arizona. No surprise here. So she is going to win the state by a larger than expected margin. She's ahead by 7. The remaining votes are pretty Republican, but it's still not going to be enough for her to lose the state. Now, this is a big call. Texas, 41 electoral votes for Donald Trump. Democrats have long been dreaming of flipping the state, and they came close this year. I mean, they lost it by 6, which was pretty interesting for them in 2020. It was pretty close in 2020. It narrowed up again this year, but still not enough for it to flip to the Democratic Party. And in Wisconsin, this is another flip. This was a Biden state in 2020. Trump did enough in the rural part of the state to offset Harris's big wins in Milwaukee, Madison, and La Crosse. So Wisconsin narrowly going for Donald Trump. And Wisconsin should be colored in red. We apologize for that. 302 electoral votes for Kamala Harris, as you can see right here. And it's now 5:13 a.m. on the East Coast, and we can project that Nevada's 6 electoral votes will go for Kamala Harris. She has a very narrow lead there, but it's only going to expand as we get more votes in from Clark County. Now, 5:18, we have our final projection. It's that Florida will go for Donald Trump with 31 electoral votes here. He will win Florida very easily, or not very easily, but it was closer than 2020. But still, Donald Trump will hold on to Florida. He actually lives here now, so yeah. Donald Trump did lose the election. He has yet to concede. He's kind of again been quiet because he doesn't really have a social media presence anymore. Kamala Harris has 308 electoral votes. She flipped North Carolina. Trump flipped Wisconsin. So this is your final map: 308 for Harris, 230 for Donald Trump. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. It was made rather quickly, and I apologize. There were a few mistakes. If you caught them, cool. But yeah, this is actually subscriber decided, so we got, I think, 250 responses on the Google form, which is insane. Thank you all so much for filling that out and telling me who you think was going to win the battleground states. So again, thank you for watching this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.